Hello students, welcome in our English YouTube channel. Learn English with Manjusha. Now today we are going to see 1.1 Where the Mind is Without Fear, class 10. This poem Where the Mind is Without Fear is written by Rabindranath Tagore. So before starting the poem, let's see something about the poet. Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861 and he was died in 1941. Rabindranath Tagore was the author of Gitanjali. Actually, this is the very famous work. For that, he got the Nobel Prize in 1913. Gitanjali is known for its profoundly sensitive, fresh, and beautiful verse. And for that, Rabindranath Tagore got Nobel Prize in English Literature. He was the first non-European person who got the Nobel Prize. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali language. In which language? This poem was composed originally in Bengali language, and later he himself translated this poem into English language. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology Gitanjali. Okay? From where? His famous anthology Gitanjali. Rabindranath Tagore here wrote this poem when India was under the British rule, and this poem is written in the form of a prayer. To whom this prayer is? This prayer is to the Almighty, asking for freedom for the country. And Tagore also writes here about the different qualities. What about different qualities? Where the Mind is Without Fear was included in the volume called Naivadya. This poem is a prayer to whom? To God, to protect the nation from evil effects. From where? From the evil effects. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the Britishers. So in this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to God, to Almighty, for what? For social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. For what? For the people of India. And so this poem is a prayer. This poem was actually taken from the very famous anthology Gitanjali. And what is actually here the poet wants to say? The poet wishes or says his countrymen to get true freedom. And so he describes what this haven of freedom is in detail in this poem. Before starting the poem, let's see something about this. His compositions were chosen by two nations as national anthems. That means Gitanjali, from where this poem is taken, and whatever his compositions from there, chosen by two nations. These compositions were chosen by two nations. One is India and another one is the Bangladesh. India here chosen the national anthem Jana Gana Mana, and Bangladesh Amar Shonar Bengal. Okay, these are the two compositions. Now let's see the poem in detail. I hope you have understood about the poet. I am going to read out the poem. Listen the poem very carefully. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, when the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Rabindranath Tagore. Now let's see the poem in detail. What does here the poet want to say? First of all, we understood that this poem is a prayer, and this poem is written into a pre-verse. In which pre-verse Rabindranath Tagore wishes his countrymen to be here awakened into a heaven of freedom. So he prays to God, he prays to Almighty. He begins by saying that the minds of the countrymen should be free from any kind of a fear. From where? Any kind of a fear. There shouldn't be any kind of a fear on the minds of these people. He begins by saying that the minds of his countrymen should be free from any kind of a fear. Their heads should be high. Okay? There shouldn't be any kind of a oppression on their mind. Then definitely they should hold high their heads. So this is the praying to whom? God. To grant his country such freedom of thoughts and expressions, freedom from the shackles of superstitions and bondage of social evils, which leads towards perfection. The poet prays to God, saying that his country should be free from the fear of oppression, and each person should be able to hold his head high. Okay, within these two lines, here the poet wants to say that everyone should be free from the fear of oppression, and each person's head should be held high. Okay, this is the thing here the poet wants to say. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments. What kind of fragments? Fragments means pieces. Religion, caste, creed, color, these are the fragments, these are the barriers. So, what does here the poet wants to say? There should be an atmosphere of fearlessness. That means no person should feel here fear in their mind. Okay? The country should be a place where knowledge is available. To whom? To everyone. How? Equally. Means everyone should get the knowledge equally and free of cost, without having any kind of a cost, without any discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, class, color, gender and religion. These are the barriers, these are the fragments, and here the poet wants to say what? The poet wants to say that the knowledge should be free to everyone. People should be united and the world should not be broken up into small pieces. Where? People should not be broken into small pieces. There shouldn't be any kind of a division of people based on religion, caste, class, creed, color, or any other such prejudices. Not only in our own society, but in the countries of the world as well. That the poet wants to say. He wishes for a country which is not broken up into fragments by prejudices and superstitions. Okay? They should stand united here. He wants a nation where the poet wants a nation where people are truthful and words come out from the depth of their hearts. How should the words come? The words come out from the depth of their hearts. So, how the words come? They come very truly, very sincerely, with having no prejudice. Okay? So, the poet wants here a country where people speak the truth sincerely and the words coming from their depth of their hearts. So, everyone should work hard. For that, he wishes here for a nation where everyone is free to toil, to work hard. Okay? And if they work hard continuously, then definitely whatever is their desire, whatever is their aim, whatever is their wish, they can fulfill it without having any kind of a barrier or problem. That means here the poet wants to say there, he wishes for a nation where everyone is free to toil and work hard for everything they desire for their own, for their good of the nation. Okay, I hope that you understood first 6 lines. Now let's see which figures of speech is used there. where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Here, tireless striving has been given the human quality of stretching its arms. What is given here? Human quality of stretching its arms. That means this is the example of personification. Okay, I hope that you understood this. Now let's see the remaining lines. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary deserts and of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee, into ever widening thought and action, into that haven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Actually, earlier the poet says that when the people here work hard to reach their goal, then definitely they should continuously strive for their perfection, for achieving their aim. Then he compares the logical thinking or reason to a clear stream. What here he has compared? He compares logical thinking or reason to a clear stream. And what is compared with the dead habit? Old traditional rituals and customs that are harmful to the dreary desert sand of dead habit. Okay, so here the poet has compared reason to a clear stream. To what? Reason is compared to a clear stream, and dead habit is compared to the dreary desert sand. Okay, now you have understood this, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. The poet prays to God that Indians should be logical and progressive in thoughts and actions. And when they would be logical and progressive, definitely what would happen? Then definitely there will be progress. He wants the power of reason to dominate the minds of his countrymen. He doesn't want the stream of reason to be lost among outdated customs and traditions and prejudices or superstitious beliefs. Okay, what would happen here? He wants here the power of reason for what? To dominate the minds of his countrymen. And he doesn't want the stream of reason to be lost among outdated customs and superstitious beliefs. Okay, later, the poet says that it should be a nation where blind superstitious habits or beliefs of, and actions have not put out the light of reason, where people's mind should not dwell in the mistakes of the past or not be possessed by it. On the other hand, they should be led by the power of reasoning to be focused on the future by applying logical thought and action. Okay, his countrymen should be led by rational thinking and not by any old beliefs that are harmful, that the here poet wants to say. I hope that you understood this. He wants the country to be led forward by God into the freedom of her broadened attitude and mindset. That means in the last two lines or three lines, where the mind is led forward by thee. Thee means here the word is used for Almighty. Through this word, the poet wants to say about the Almighty, means God. The poet wants here the mind of his countrymen to be led forward by the Almighty, so that they broaden their outlook, they broaden their attitude, they broaden their mindset. He requests the Father to awaken his country into such a haven of freedom. What kind of freedom? Where the people are all truly free and total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good actions, while respecting those of others. Okay, that kind of a freedom, haven of freedom, here the poet wants for whom? For his countrymen. That means people. Into ever widening thought and action, into that haven of freedom. My Father, let my country awake. In the last line, my Father, the world is also indicated for whom? That means the God. Okay, that means the Almighty. The Father, to awaken his country into such a haven of freedom, is only by the universality of outlook and an abiding passion or the realization of a great human ideals that India will achieve her true freedom, and this way alone will she realize her destiny. That the poet here wants to say. Actually, that means in a simple way, I want to say that the poet addresses here God as my Father, okay, Almighty, and ask Him to awaken His country into a heaven of freedom, where there is a total freedom of good thoughts, good words, and good actions. Okay, I hope that you understood this poem. All the words you understood here. Now let's see the remaining figures of speech that comes last last five lines. Dreary deserts, sand of dead habit. Here again comes personification. Dead habit. How are the habits? They are dead? No. So habit has been given the human quality of death. So this is the example of personification. One more example here. Clear stream of reason. Okay. Now let's see. Clear stream of reason means where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. This is the line. Okay. Which figure of speech is used here? This is the example of metaphor. Why this is the example of metaphor? Because here reason has been implicitly compared to what? A clear stream. So this is the example of metaphor. One more example of metaphor is given there. Dreary desert, sand of dead habit. Into the dreary desert, sand of dead habit. Okay. So what is compared here? Old habits have been implicitly compared to a dreary desert sand. So this is one more example of metaphor. Okay. Last line. Into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. There are also other figures of speech. Country, the word here stands for the people of the country. Actually, country means what? Not only that nation. Country means countrymen, and so that word stands for the people who are living in the country. So this is the example of synecdoche. Then, my Father, let my country awake. My Father, the word is actually addressed to whom? God. That means Almighty. So this is the example of apostrophe. Okay. So in short, I want to say that this poem is a prayer. To whom this is the prayer? This poem is the prayer to Almighty, and he prays God or Almighty for awakening his country into a heaven of freedom, where everyone, means all the people, are truly free. Total freedom they should get here. And what kind of freedom? Good thoughts, good words, and good actions. Whatever is there, that is respecting here. Okay, means while respecting those of others. And here the poet wishes what? That his country awakens into a heaven of freedom. Okay, I hope that you understood the whole poem. Whatever the figures of speech comes here, that also you understood. Okay, so now we stop here. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you very much.